So I will say to never say never, because you don't know who you are in the future and what you're capable of. What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. My name is Shakayla, also known as Earth to Sita, previously my channel known as Manifesting with Karmic Sight Gal. Welcome back, and I guess welcome me back to YouTube. It's been quite some time since I posted a video at all. Life is insane, honestly, just to speak of. Today, I guess I wanted to come and just chat with you guys, and fill you in on where I am in life and what I'm doing, what I've been working on, what brought me away from YouTube. And I would say that ultimately what brought me away from YouTube is that I was losing myself in my last relationship. And I didn't realize it was happening until it happened. It was already too late. And the only thing that I could do was leave. So what have I been doing for the last 2 years? For the last 2 years, I've been working in nonprofit spaces, specifically with female veterans and artists, working in healing justice, behind the scenes, nonprofit shit, doing Reiki. I'm still doing lots of Reiki. I stopped doing my beauty and cosmetics business altogether. I relocated to Illinois so that I could be closer with my kids and my kids could be closer with their dad, because we was going back and forth for a couple of years. And yeah, so that's life right now. Right now, I really wanted to talk to you guys about the biggest lesson that I've learned this year. It's 2024, and this is a 8-year. I'm sure you've heard it all year long. 8 is a number that is heavily tied into manifestation, but more than that, it's about story weaving, okay? It's about the creation of life. The number of 8 is about long-term abundance, and the number of 8 is also a number of karmic cycles. So I feel like throughout this year, I have been weeding through my karma and giving myself grace for mistakes that I've made. Also really pouring back into myself in authentically, my most authentic self. And I think that is ultimately why I don't want to say left YouTube, because I didn't leave. But that's ultimately why I haven't posted any content, is because at the end of the day, I didn't know myself anymore. I didn't believe in myself, and I was just trying to navigate through healing. I wish you guys could have just seen this robin literally just almost fly into my car window. Thank you, Spirit, for that. So let's get started. The biggest lesson that I've learned this year is to never say never. Up until this year, I was a very much a person that said I would never do things. As a Virgo, I was not only a strict girly with myself, strict with other people, the expectations I had for our relationships, but also I was very controlling and trying to control the narrative and the perception that people had of me and how I even viewed myself. So it was like I was really afraid to live life, to make mistakes, to go after the things that I wanted, because not that I was afraid of rejection or fear of the unknown. It was that I absolutely knew everything that I could be, and I knew that I couldn't be any of those things in my current relationship. The thing about never saying never is that every single time, God is going to humble you. The universe is going to humble you in the most beautiful way if you allow yourself to see it and perceive what's happening in that light. Okay? Try not to get emotional. I have this system, and for me it works because I'm a life path 5 and I appreciate a lot of change in my life and a lot of change in myself. So I will say that every year I take stock of my life and I take a length, at least 3 months to process, to acknowledge, and I guess really understand where I'm at in my journey and how that correlates to where I need to be, where I want to be to feel fulfilled in life, okay? And it got to a point where I realized that I didn't like myself. I didn't like who I was because I really wasn't showing up as my authentic self. It's just certain things about my personality that I was suppressing that really led me to create a lifestyle that I really didn't want in the first place. And when it came to a point where my happiness was non-existent and I was the most insufferable person that I knew, that I realized I had to do something different. So this year in April, we hosted our first ever retreat that we facilitated, the Treehouse Retreat in Rougemont, North Carolina. And at that retreat, I had life-changing experiences that one day I'll share with you. Right now, I'm not ready to. But when I returned home from that trip, I was not the same person. I didn't perceive my life experience the same anymore. I had a whole different outlook on certain situations that I used to be judgmental of. Like, I would say, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. And that's just not true. I think that everything happens for a reason. And when I came back, I had to immediately hurry up and basically put myself into recovery, because what am I doing and why am I not happy? And for me, what I wanted was to be free. And not free in the terms of I needed to hurry up and be single, but I needed to be free to do what I wanted to do without any guilt, pressure, or expectations of who I should be to or for other people. I realized that this is the only time I'm going to get to be with this version of myself. And it's something that I already know, but it's like when you live in life, that stuff kind of just slips past you. You forget. But I was reminded that I am choosing this, okay? Everything that I'm doing is literally a personal choice. And I could choose to end my suffering at any time by removing myself from this situation. And so that's what I did. Because when I thought about the last year of my life and what it is that I need to be happy, there was a lot of things that I was still contributing to and entertaining that was never going to make me happy ever. Because I was suppressing and avoiding how I really felt. Not only do we owe it to ourselves to slow down, but we owe it to ourselves to be intentional about what it is that we're doing, how we're living our life, and the story it is that we're choosing to create here or whatever. And it's okay not to have everything figured out. Like, I never have anything figured out. That's why I have a 1-year plan, because I have 1 year to try this plan. And if it's not working, then guess what? I'm going to try another plan. Or essentially I need to shake some shit up because it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. And I'm not wanting to be the dead horse, not at this point in time in my life. I had to take time to really sit with myself and think about what it is that I wanted, what it is that I needed, and what behaviors and choices I was making that was contributing to me not manifesting that reality. Okay? And it really was that simple of once I made up my mind what I want. And what I decided that I wanted was to be in a non-monogamous relationship, y'all. I decided that I do not want to date one person at a time no more. And I don't know if this is just a right now thing. I don't know if it's something that's long term. Like, if I decided I want to be in a marriage, is that marriage also going to be an open relationship? I'm not sure. But right now, what I know that I need is to have lots of experiences with lots of different people so I can figure out what it is that I want in a long-term way. And if I don't want to be in a relationship long-term, now is the time to figure it out. Because I don't want to repeat the same patterns that I have in the past. In the past, I find myself to be a people pleaser, even though I come off as really selfish. And I think that I can be really selfish and people assume that I'm really selfish because I prioritize myself and what I want over anything and anybody else. The only thing that's going to get me to change my mind when my mind is made up is really my kids. There's nothing else nobody else could do. Now, what people pleasing does to me on a personal level is my self-esteem starts to suffer because I start to put myself into a box, which limits my beliefs about myself. And then I can't really create or manifest because now I don't believe in myself. And this is all based on other people's needs and wants. And so, like, in the name of compromise, I'm basically setting my personal self up for failure in hopes of a successful relationship. And that's not who I want to be anymore. And so I had to make a few changes to stop that cycle. Okay. When I went to my ex-girlfriend and I told her I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship anymore, I think that at first she did consider it. Or first she said no, that's not what she want, and then she went back and she did like consider it. But I think ultimately I had to take matters into my own hands and in the relationship, because I knew then she would be doing the same thing that I had been doing the last 3 years, which is being flexible when it came to my needs so that the relationship felt more grounded and stable. But what I have learned is that a healthy relationship does not need you to compromise who you are on a personal level to satisfy the relationship. And so some of this could look like me. I give real sexy vibes and I love attention, okay? And I start telling myself that I don't like attention because my last partner didn't like me having it. Okay? And so I told myself something was wrong with me for wanting the attention instead of saying, this is who I am on a personal level. I was trying to reject myself. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting attention or requiring attention. The problem is that I'm asking for someone to submit to my needs, and it's creating an unmet need for them. Because then, in turn, if we were to go down that road where we had an open relationship together, she would start to second guess herself. She would start to feel insecure or like she's not enough. She would internalize me meeting my own needs as like it's a personal attack against her. And so I knew that I couldn't do it. And I knew that we couldn't sustain a relationship anymore because I was already releasing the version of myself that I had created to safely and healthfully be in that relationship. And now that that person was fading away, it's like I didn't know who I was anymore. but I knew what I didn't want was to be in a relationship. I think that people have a lot of different opinions about non-monogamous dating, but I genuinely believe it's because they are tainted, or there's an aspect of mind control on a cultural level, and where like a lot of people's values around marriage and relationships is either dictated by religion or governments. Okay. And so I'm just not that girl or whatever. The relationship that I want to be in, I want it to feel like the relationship I want to be in. And I feel like I shouldn't settle to be with somebody that I know that either one or both of us are going to have unmet needs regularly in the relationship that should be met by one of us. I want to be specific when I say that, because our partners cannot fulfill us. They can't make us happy or whatever. They're just only a piece of the puzzle of our happiness. But what I was finding myself was taking away from my own happiness to appease my partner. And that's how I knew that my relationship wasn't as healthy as I thought it was. I decided recently to adapt this Burger King formula for life, which is, everybody know what Burger King slogan is: BK, have it your way, period. I want to have it my way. I have come to the full understanding and the complexity that multiple realities can be occurring at the same time, and that what I want exists out there. I just have to create that. Might have to create that with one or multiple people. I might have to create that by setting clear and firm boundaries, by saying no to the things that are not a clear yes. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. And when somebody in a relationship with me starts to make me feel like what it is that I'm trying to attain is impossible, I got to get them niggas away from me so fucking fast. It's not even funny. Like, that is what makes me feel like I don't have the freedom or the control for myself personally, and that I'm essentially handing that over to say, I choose this relationship over myself, over self-preservation. And self-love and self-care cannot be a one-time thing. It can't be just the act of self-care. It has to be radical, in the sense that you are constantly going to continue to choose yourself and your needs being met over anything else. Okay? Anything. Any relationship, any job, any specific location. If it's not pouring into you in the way that you need to be fulfilled, and I mean just matching up with the complete picture that you have for your life right now. And I want to be specific and say right now, because things change. Next week I could want something that different. Next year I could be like, I'm ready to be monogamous and have my husband. Who knows what this experience is going to heal in me for my perspective to change. And I'm open to that. But what I'm not open to is right now the feelings that I have about myself and my life that I'm trying to create. I'm not open to completely ignoring them to appease another relationship in any way, shape, or form. I know that I don't have all the answers, and I don't want all the answers neither. In the previous video I spoke about, I'll tag the video up here, and it's called The Only Important Question That You Need to Ask About Yourself. And ultimately the answer is what? You need to ask what questions, open-ended questions or whatever. And so what am I feeling right now? Right now I feel limited. Right now I feel inauthentic. Right now I feel unhappy. And that's where my mindset was at when I came back from the retreat or whatever. And so I had to sit with myself, and it took me a couple of weeks to say, what do I really need? What do I really want? and what is going to be more in alignment with the future, the reality that I'm trying to create. And so I had already made up in my mind by the time I got back home, I just want to date other people. I just want to explore other people, have relationships with other people, learn myself through other people, and do it in the most honest way possible by just being non-monogamous or whatever. I don't want to be a liar. I don't want to be a cheater. I just want to be single and do me and date and make deep, meaningful connections. And I think that scares other people because they know my capability to connect with somebody else. And they feel like, well, you could connect with this other person, and then what does that mean for our connection? And for me personally, I feel like every relationship is separate. I feel like right now I'm dating two people, a man and a woman, and I haven't dated a man in forever. It's been like 6 or 7 years since I dated a man, had sex with a man, entertained one, anything at all. And so this is like a whole new experience for me in a sense of like, the expectations I had of men and the biases I had of them too, or whatever. And so my intention going into this experience is really just to experience it and to heal my biases that I have from those previous experiences that I had. I don't want to be in another long-term relationship or get married and still have these things weighing on me and still be holding on to unresolved conflict in my heart, and then that be the reason that I made certain choices. I don't know if that's making sense, or if anything I'm saying is making sense, but I know that you guys are my people, and I know this is going to reach the people that need to hear and are going to feel validated by what I'm saying. At that moment, it felt like I needed to choose myself. It felt like it was me or it was them. It was the relationship or it was me. And I had already lost myself quite a bit. I had spent at least a whole year being depressed, which is why I wasn't creating no content. I wasn't doing no healing work for real. I wasn't even trying. I had got so depressed to the point that I couldn't barely get out of bed. The only time I was getting dressed was to record the podcast. And I realized that it was time for me to stand on business. And what that meant was standing on who I say I am as a person and who it is that I want to be. And if I say I want to be with somebody I want to be somebody who does not date monogamously, then I'm ready to do it right now. And I'm not waiting another year. I'm not waiting another 30 days to do the same thing that I've been doing the last year and the results wasn't resulting. You know what I mean? And so I had to stand on business and not choose myself. I had to stand on business and choose grief, choose pain, choose the resentment coming from my ex-partner. And ultimately I had to choose chaos so that later on I will be able to experience peace. And it's way easier said than done to just abandon your entire reality. And a lot of people think that it's selfish. At this time in all of our lives, being in the 8th year, in the moment, in the year of 2024, as October, veil thin as fuck. Right now, the universe, the planets are all aligning us, encouraging us, motivating us, literally stressing us out to the point of no return, so that we can return to our most authentic selves, so that we can abandon these realities that we have created out of what? Protection, safety, compromise, codependency. There's so many layers to it. Like, this time in our lives right now is saying, how good can it get? How peaceful can I be? And it's honestly giving us the space to abandon any area of our life that is not adding value or peace or fulfillment into your life. It's like we get to choose every day if we take these moments that are little pockets of peace, which is like our joy of the day. You know what I'm saying? For some people, it might be Starbucks in the morning. For some people, it's waking up next to the person that they love. For some people, it is eating at their favorite place at lunch every day. For some people, their joy of life is literally work. It really depends. Some people, their joy of life is coming home to their family at the end of the day. And so those are all pockets of peace, okay? And where there is peace, that means that there is space for abundance to be filled. You cannot fill abundance into a pocket of chaos, okay? You can't pour abundance into something that's not an alignment for you. It's constantly going to keep rejecting you at every turn of your life. And if you honestly, like, if you be real with yourself, you know that in situations that you allowed to go on for too long, that you tolerated, or even that's maybe right now in your mind you still wish was existing, if the universe took it from you, know that it's for good reason. Rejection is ultimately God's protection. And like when I was in this similar situation, but the foot was on the other shoe, I didn't understand. I didn't understand at all. I felt so abandoned. I felt so lost. I felt just like unloved, unworthy of love. But then I realized, like, girl, you need to love yourself. And when you don't love yourself to the highest degree, where you're willing to let go of any and everybody and everything to preserve who you are, if you don't have that amount of self-love, then baby, you're not going to understand. You ain't going to understand why other people decide to put themselves first, because you lack the boundaries. You lack the courage to be strong and to stand in your authenticity and say, I know that's not what I want for my life, so I will not settle for it. And it sucks being the bad guy. It sucks being the person to say, hey, this is not working out. But you know what sucks worse is continuing to stay in a reality that you know is not, it's not it. And you know when it's not it. Some people, they could do it. They have the strength to keep going a whole lifetime in a reality that they know is not in alignment for them. It doesn't activate their soul purpose. Like when we get into this energy of 8, it's literally like true alignment with your soul purpose. Okay. That's like all the universe is offering us right now. It's like moments to be aligned with our true purpose, our true self. And when you ignore that, you're literally blocking your blessings. Right now, we are truly being forced to acknowledge our unmet needs. And we do that by saving space, creating a safe space to acknowledge how our needs are not being met. What are all the things that are contributing to the somber feeling you have about your life, or like something is missing? Well, what's missing? What's going to make you happy? What's going to help you be more aligned with your purpose? What is your purpose? We have to get back to those what questions so that we can truly find fulfillment where we're at right now in our journey, okay? And if you know that something's never going to fulfill you in a way that you need it to, you just got to let it go. You got to let it go and detach from whatever outcome it is, because that is the whole energy behind saying I would never do something, is because I know for me, I was attached to a version of myself. And I said, that version of me would never do that. That version of me would never hurt my person this way. That version of me would never act so irresponsibly financially. That version of me. And I was like, by doing this, not only I'm limiting myself from growing because I'm not allowing myself to make the mistakes to grow from them, I'm also limiting myself just from feeling how I authentically feel. And that's how you manifest, is with your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Your emotions is what manifests you. So everything you're feeling is like what is projected into your actual reality. So if you feel unhappy on a deep level, it doesn't matter what your partner's doing or what they're providing for you. If you have unmet needs and you're not going out and seeking the experiences that will meet those needs, whether it looks like in further education, whether that looks like through more relationships, making friends, dating, whether that looks like trying new hobbies, those things is what's going to help you to figure out, okay, what do I want? I tried pottery. I loved it. Now I know that's something that I want in my equation. Now I know that's something that pours into me and fulfills me. And I can do that on a regular basis so that I don't get burnt out and shit. We need those moments of pockets of peace. But when you get to the point where you feel like there's no peace anywhere, no matter where you go, that means you got to change your environments. Okay. And when you change your environment, then you can start to shift your perspective of how you feel about yourself. And when you think different and you feel different, then your actions become different. Okay? So I would say to never say never, because you don't know who you are in the future and what you're capable of. And you got to put your number one, your star player first, like Cat Williams say. I hope that this video was fulfilling for you, even though I'm all over the place. Hashtag ADHD girly. I'm really just glad to be back on YouTube, to sit here, have an open dialogue conversation with you guys, not stress myself out too much, but really just talk about what's on my mind and what I'm going through right now. And I really appreciate you guys for being my community, being part of the spiritual family, and holding a safe space for me to be my most authentic self. I can't wait to make more videos, to come out with more content. It's a bunch of stuff that I want to do. I want to do like Sims. I want to do more 420 content, because you know that's like my brand above everything outside of healing is that 420 content. And I just want it to be real and authentic and not posed how my content has been the last couple of years. So I'm sending you guys so much love, so much abundance, so much peace. Follow me on every platform at Earth to Sita, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Peace.